All right, we are here with Alan Patrick, co-director of the Cameron Executive Network, and we have a few questions about expatriate training. So welcome, Mr. Patrick.
Thank you.
So our first question is, have you had any language, cross-cultural, or business training related to the do's and don'ts of operating and living in another country?
As a matter of fact, I've had the opportunity to live in 3 different countries, Mexico, Brazil, and South Korea, all under the auspices of Ford Motor Company. And in my generation of doing these overseas assignments, language training was offered to us before and after we left the United States. Cross-cultural training was not a big pre-requirement for going overseas. You were encouraged to read as many books as possible, and typically because you were going to organizations or facilities overseas that were previously manned by Ford people, you would learn the culture on the job.
All right. So have you traveled or lived overseas prior to your assignments?
Very little travel prior to the company sending me overseas. My only extensive travel overseas was with the U.S. Army in Vietnam. I wouldn't call that leisure travel at all.
No, not at all. Well, thank you for your service. So how long did it take you to get acclimated?
As I said, most of the countries, Mexico and Brazil in particular, had Ford facilities already there, so we had expats already in the country, and we had English-speaking native staffs there. So the acclimation was usually accomplished in 2 to 3 months, easily.
Awesome. All right. So most of your new colleagues welcomed you when you came over?
Very much so, yes. Yeah.
Did you have any family members with you?
I did. A wife and 1 daughter traveled with us, and it was a very good experience for the whole family. My wife happens to be a linguist, so it was easy for her, and my young daughter finished high school in Korea, and she still has Korean friends to this day.
Oh, that's good. How was everyone commuting while you were overseas?
When you say commuting, back and forth to the United States?
I would say from work and school while you're on assignment.
Country, depending on the country. In Mexico, we drove ourselves. In Brazil, the initial 90 days was with a driver and car to get you acclimated to the different road systems. And in Korea, we were not allowed to drive ourselves because of the legal system in Korea.
Right.
As a foreigner, if you have an accident in Korea, you're assumed guilty and taken to jail until proven otherwise.
Oh my goodness. Well, good to know. So we have a question about insurance policies. Did corporate policies offer clear and adequate levels of coverage and support in the event of emergency?
Ford Motor Company is very good about the insurance coverage, and we never had any fears that we would be left high and dry in a foreign country. And fortunately for all of us, we never had any illnesses or diseases to deal with, so we didn't have to really test the insurance system.
All right, good to know. All right, Mr. Patrick, we have one last question for you. If you could get a message from the present to the past, what advice would you give yourself?
I would encourage corporations today to definitely do more cultural training before your employees leave, and make sure that they understand the norms and values of the country they're going to. In my day, we did it on the job, but I think it would benefit everybody if the training was done at least 3 to 6 months prior to the person leaving.
Well, thank you so much for your time, sir.
My pleasure.